Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video, there's a few things to negotiate about. So I am going to be giving you Manchester United's best players since the resumption of the season. And I'm also going to go through with you how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has improved at Manchester United. So, our best players since the resumption of the season. I think, one of our best players, of course, has been Mason Greenwood. He's definitely, been the talking point. Mason Greenwood is on now 16 goals for Manchester United this season. Solskjaer did say recently that we are not worried about Mason Greenwood burning out because, we have started him a lot recently. But earlier on in the season, the vast majority of Mason Greenwood's appearances, came from that substitutes bench. He also said recently regarding Greenwood, did Solskjaer, that he's also ready to play for England at senior level. And he also said he's a better finisher than Wayne Rooney was at the same age. Solskjaer has said that Mason Greenwood is now undroppable. Mason Greenwood's definitely my preference over Daniel James. Daniel James is place now at Manchester United is under threat, especially if we was to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer transfer window. But yeah, so this has been Mason Greenwood's first full season in our senior squad. I think he did make his debut in our 2-0 loss to Cardiff at the end of last season. But he's definitely the foreseeable future for Manchester United and that. Mason Greenwood scored recently in the 3-0 win against Aston Villa. He scored twice in the 5-2 win against Bournemouth. He also scored in the 3-0 win against Brighton. So he's doing really, really well, he's Mason Greenwood. Another one of our best players since the resumption of the season has been Anthony Martial. I think Martial's done really, really well. Don't forget, he did score a hat-trick in our 3-0 win against Sheffield United. And that Martial became the first player to score a hat-trick for Manchester United, since Robin Van Persie, was it back in 2012. And actually, that was his first senior hat-trick for the football club. As you all know, Martial has been playing in that number 9 role this season. And he's looked very, very effective in that central position. But, that central position isn't his predominant position. His predominant position is playing out wide because in the 4 previous seasons, Anthony Martial has been playing out wide. This has been Martial's 5th season at the football club. He's enjoyed an exceptional season this season under Solskjaer. Obviously, he's enjoyed some difficult times as a Manchester United player. But I think one of the best seasons he enjoyed was his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. We got Martial for, was it around £36 million from Monaco, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements. I think Martial now is on like 20 goals this season. So yeah, he's been good for us. I think another one of our best players since the resumption of the season has been Marcus Rashford. He has only scored 1 goal since the resumption of the season, but he's also, created some very, very good chances as well. And Solskjaer was talking a lot about Marcus Rashford yesterday during his press conference, saying that he's very, very happy with Rashford. He's creating more space, he's getting in behind now easily. And he's looked very, very effective, playing out wide. Like I said, Rashford was a big miss earlier on in the season because he was out with that back injury. And he was out for a while with that back injury. But, Rashford has been with us for several years. Like I said, he was in our youth academy for several years. He's been United player since the age of 7. And he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And, since then, he has become an integral part of our team. I think Rashford has got over 60 goals now since he broke into the senior squad. And he's on around 19 or 20 goals this season. So yeah, so that attacking line, looks very, very good now. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, he's been one of our best players since the resumption of the season. But I think, he's been one of our best players, since we recruited him in January, Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes scored, of course, in the 3-0 win against Aston Villa. He's not only scoring goals, he's also providing assists. Bruno Fernandes got 2 assists against Bournemouth. And Bruno Fernandes is now on 8 goals for Manchester United this season. And I think he got Premier League Player of the Month for June. He also got Premier League Player of the Month for February, reflecting on his good run of performances. But he's definitely made the difference in the team. You know, like I said, we got him in a deal with £65 million, Bruno Fernandes, with add-ons included. And when we signed him in January, I think he signed, was it a 5.5-year deal? I think it was a 5.5-year deal. But what a sign, you know, Bruno Fernandes has been for us. It's just amazing, you know, how one player can make a difference in a team. So, yeah, you know, I've been very, very delighted with him. Paul Pogba, since the resumption of the season, you know, he's also been very, very good. Like I said, I didn't have a perception on Paul Pogba earlier on in the season because obviously, you know, he wasn't playing because Paul Pogba was out with that ankle injury for a long time. But since the resumption of the season, he's made a fantastic impact, and I think his combination with Bruno Fernandes has been exceptional. But I think overall the combinations have improved in the team. Paul Pogba did score against Aston Villa. It was a really good goal as well. You know, first goal of the season for Pogba and first goal since April 2019. Now, you already know the news regarding Paul Pogba, don't you? Fabrizio Romano came out recently and he said that Manchester United have been in negotiations with Pogba's agent Mino Raiola over extending Paul Pogba's contract at the football club. Because Solsjaker said, you know, he wants Paul Pogba to commit his long-term future in Man United. Paul Pogba recently spoke about how Manchester United can become a top team. Of course, Paul Pogba has got just under a year left on his current contract at the club, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Like I said, on his current contract at the moment, Pogba's on just under £300,000 a week. So he's one of the highest paid players at the club. He's also our most expensive signing, you know, because we did pay £89 million for Paul Pogba. Now, at one point, it was looking very, very imminent he was going to be leaving the football club because don't forget last summer, you know, he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid was Paul Pogba. And Paul Pogba revealed last summer that he wanted to leave Man United because he said he was seeking for a new challenge. But, you know, we said last summer we wanted 180 million for Pogba. Then obviously, you know, the transfer saga, you know, continued. You know, there were stories about him, you know, possibly going back to Juventus because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. There was also stories about him possibly going to PSG. There were stories before about him possibly going to Barcelona. But, you know, if we can give Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the club, then that will end the uncertainty over his future. Paul Pogba, I think, you know, will be a Manchester United player next season. He will be a Manchester United player. So far at the football club, Paul Pogba's won 2 trophies, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. In reality, you can say we made a mistake by getting rid of Paul Pogba when he was younger, because we had Paul Pogba when he was young under the Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. We let him go on a 3 transfer, Paul Pogba. But yeah, you know, I've been very, very delighted with him, you know, since the resumption of the season. Mino Raiola, you know, his agent in the last couple of years has been working on trying to get his client to transfer away from Man United completed because, you know, like he's been in talks with Real Madrid, he's obviously, you know, been in talks with Juventus. But like I said, since the turn of the year, we've been very critical of Mino Raiola, you know, reflecting on some of the comments he has said. You know, so yeah, he's been one of our best players. I think Matic has done really, really well since the resumption of the season. That's one admission I've got to make. Before, obviously, you know, lockdown and that, you know, McTominay was playing a lot. You know, he was there ahead of Matic, you know. But since the resumption of the season, Matic has been getting more starts. And I think, you know, his composure has been very, very good in that midfield. I think he's regained possession well. His passing ability has also been very, very good. Don't forget, it did announce on Monday that Matic had signed a 3-year contract with the football club. So that keeps him at Manchester United until 2023. It wasn't so long ago that we'd extended Matic's contract by 12 months. But we've given this 3-year contract reflecting on his good performances. At one point, it was looking very likely that Matic was going to be leaving the football club. You know, Matic has made 115 appearances now for us, I think. This has been his 3rd season at Manchester United. You know, we paid £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. So, yeah, you know, I've been also very, very impressed with him. And Wan-Bissaka, you know, I've also been delighted with him. He's had a good season, anyways, Wan-Bissaka, but since the resumption of the season, he's continued that momentum. Recently as well, Bissaka showed good attacking intent. His defensive contributions being good, but there again, his defensive contributions also are always being very, very good. We got Wan-Bissaka last summer from Crystal Palace for £45 million, and definitely Wan-Bissaka is the foreseeable future for Manchester United and all of that. So yeah, I think they've been our best players since the resumption of the season. There's some players, that haven't been too good. There's some players that haven't been too good. Lindelof's had a few good games, but he's also enjoyed some bad games since the resumption of the season. Like, same sort of thing with Harry Maguire, he's had some good games since the resumption of the season, but he's also had some bad games. Maguire, wasn't too good against Tottenham, was he? He was accountable, for Steven Bergwijn's goal. But he's still had some good games. Luke Shaw, I think he's actually done quite well since the resumption of the season. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone, but prior to that, very, very good left back. This has been Luke Shaw's 6th season at Manchester United. We did pay £30 million in from Southampton back in 2014, and we know that Luke Shaw is going to remain our first choice left back for the remainder of this season, probably next season as well, because obviously we've got Brandon Williams as well at left back, but Luke Shaw's more experienced than Brandon Williams. A lot of United fans, have not been too happy with David De Gea. But, there's still a lot of United fans saying that, David De Gea should remain our number one for next season. He's made a lot of mistakes in the last couple of years, so this is why I said, he has been a liability. Like I said, beaten far too easily at his near post against Bournemouth when Junior Stanislas scored and Harry Maguire had got nutmegged. Obviously, should have saved Steven Bergwijn's shot in the 1-1 draw with Tottenham. And I think his clearances, haven't been so good either. But yeah, I've got to say now, David De Gea is definitely a liability, but can still perform well, in certain games, he still makes some very, very imperative saves, like he did against Aston Villa in the early stages. He did it against Brighton as well, he made a couple of saves. But that, David De Gea is still regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Reflecting on what he's achieved at the football club, because he has won everything here domestically. Obviously, he's won individual awards, reflects on his good run of performances. This has been David De Gea's 9th season at the club. He's approached his 10th year now at Man United, and like I said, De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been here. He's overtaken Peter Schmeichel now on appearances. David De Gea's on 399 appearances for the club in all competitions, so he is nearly on 400. But David De Gea has been with us since the Ferguson era. We paid £17 million to him from Atletico Madrid. Don't forget, back in 2015, David De Gea was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. But like I said, when David De Gea leaves Manchester United, I think he will go back to Spain. Main explanations: born in Spain, relatives are from Spain, so this is why I think he will go back to Spain. So yeah, I think for the remainder of this season, David De Gea is going to be our number one, and next season, probably David De Gea is going to be our number one. By the way, De Gea is on £375,000 a week. So he's the highest paid goalkeeper at the club, and he's the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. Dean Henderson probably in the foreseeable future will be our number one. Dean Henderson is out on loan with Sheffield United at the moment. This has been his 2nd season on loan with Sheffield United, and I've got to make an admission, he has been Sheffield United's player of the season as Dean Henderson. Like I said, he's had quite a few loan spells, with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. We got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him as a 14-year-old. Solsjaker was talking about Dean Henderson quite a few weeks back, and he did say that he's not ready yet to become Man United's number one goalkeeper, but he did say Dean Henderson will be England's number one goalkeeper and Manchester United's number one goalkeeper in the future. So anyway, so that's the latest news on that. Now I'm going to go through with you how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has improved Manchester United. Now, I think, Solskjaer's decision-making has really, really improved. Because like I said, earlier on in the season, his decision-making was woeful. He didn't really have a plan A. He didn't really have a plan B. But now all of a sudden Solskjaer seems to have that plan A, he seems to have that plan B, and he just knows how to change a game of football. Like I said early on in the season as well, he was tactically inept. But all of a sudden now, since he's made this tactical change, things have worked out. Solskjaer as well now knows his best 11. Because as you all know, in the last 4 league games, Solskjaer has gone with the exact same team. And Solskjaer's confirmed in the game against Southampton tomorrow night, he will be going with the same team again. The last time we went with the same team for 5 games on the trot was back in February 1993. So this is how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's improved at Manchester United. Obviously, as well, our recruitment has definitely, improved under him. He's brought 5 good players into the football club and spent just over £200 million. I think, the way Solskjaer's promoted the youth, that's also improved him as Manchester United manager, because the young players have been given their chances this season. Like I said, Greenwood's done well, Williams has done well, but there again, there's some players that have found game time very, very difficult. Like I said, some of the young players have found game time hard, and some players in general have found game time very, very hard. Like I said, Diego Dalot, he's hardly played, but he's had a few injuries this season. Angel Gomez has now left, but when he was here, didn't really get a lot of chances. You've got James Garner hasn't really played. Tahith Chong, he hasn't really played either. So that's another thing, that is Solskjaer, what's improved Solskjaer as Man United manager. He's also, got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club, because I think over 20 players have left Manchester United since Solskjaer came in. So that's obviously, very, very good to see. Also very, very good to see. And yeah, so this is what has improved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United manager. Like I said, we've done very, very well against the Big Six sides this season. We've taken 18 points against the Big Six sides this season. As you all know, this season as well, Solskjaer's been changing formation persistently. It's good that he's tried a few different elements at the club, but he's gone with that 4-2-3-1 formation a lot. And I think, to be honest with you, Solskjaer's going to stick with that 4-2-3-1 formation. But like I've said on my other videos, earlier on in the season, it was looking very, very likely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at Man United was going to become a failure. That's what it was looking like, because earlier on in the season, we'd enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And then obviously, at that point, there was talks of Mauricio Pochettino coming in, and there was also talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming in. But I've already gone through with you, why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, didn't get sacked as Manchester United manager. And, we had a lot of bad results earlier on in the season. We had that 1-0 defeat to Newcastle, that 2-1 home loss to Palace. We had that draw with Southampton. We had that 2-0 loss away at West Ham. So we had a lot of bad results earlier on in the season. We did lose 2-0 at home to Burnley back in January. That was our last defeat. But since that 2-0 home defeat to Burnley, we have done really, really well. We are unbeaten now in our last 17 games in all competitions. And this is our best vein of form since Solskjaer was the interim manager. Because when Solskjaer was the interim manager, I think he won his first 8 games in charge, and we won 14 out of 19 in total, and that was enough, obviously, to give Solskjaer the job permanently. Solskjaer was interim manager for 3 months. I think we're actually unbeaten now in our last 10 league games, which is very, very good. And like I said, we're creating more chances now, we're scoring more goals. We defensively look better, our football looks more expansive, and this is what we'd wanted to see, since the start of the season. But yeah, and another good thing about Solskjaer is that, he has now gained more managerial experience. Reflecting how long he's been with us, Manchester United is the 3rd club in his managerial career, so there you go. We've also extended a lot of players' contracts, since Solskjaer came in to Man United. But like I said before, we are still facing a dilemma regarding the contracts because we've still got around 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. So Solskjaer's got to make a decision on those 8 players and all of that. But yeah, I've definitely seen improvements under him. Like I said, we play Southampton tomorrow. 8 o'clock kickoff at Old Trafford. I've already given you my preview for the game. I've already given you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. I think we'll beat Southampton tomorrow if we can. We'll extend our unbeaten run to 18 games in all competitions. Like I said, though, it won't be easy. Southampton have been in a good vein of form recently. I think since that 9-0 defeat to Leicester, Southampton, really, really done well since then. And earlier on in the season, it was looking likely Southampton were going to get relegated because they were facing a relegation battle, and it looked like Ralph Hasenhüttl, was going to get the sack. But to be fair, he has turned things around with Southampton. And Solskjaer, I think, mentioned Southampton yesterday, saying, they're a good team and they've got a good manager in Ralph Hasenhüttl. We've got a pretty decent record against Southampton, we're unbeaten in our last 8 against them. The last time we lost to Southampton was back in 2016 under the Louis van Gaal era. Charlie Austin had scored. The game earlier on in the season at St Mary's was 1-1 and the game at Old Trafford last season was 3-2. Southampton, don't forget, recently beat Manchester City. They're sitting 12th in the Premier League at the moment. I think Southampton's expectations will be to probably finish mid-table more than likely. But like I said to you on my preview, they have got some good players. Have Southampton, that could cause us problems. But yeah, we should win this game. We've got now 4 games remaining in the Premier League, and don't forget Solskjaer recently demanded maximum points. He said we've got to win all our remaining games if we are to finish in the top 4. Good news, Chelsea lost yesterday 3-0 away at Sheffield United. We're 2 points behind Chelsea now, and I think we are just 1 point behind Leicester. We can actually, finish third. We can finish third, and it would be very, very good if we could finish third. But we just need a Champions League qualification, because Solskjaer recently spoken about the importance of Champions League qualification. But there again, Solskjaer did say we won't panic if we miss out on the Champions League. But if we get qualification for the Champions League, does that give us an impact on our transfer business? Does it give us an impact? We can win 2 trophies this season. We can win the FA Cup and we can also win the Europa League. Because, we are into semi-finals of the FA Cup. We've got Chelsea, really, really looking forward to that game. And, we're more or less into the last day of the Europa League because we're 5-0 up against Lask from the first leg. As you all know, the Europa League quarter-final draw has already been done. We've got Copenhagen or Istanbul Başakşehir. But yeah, I think we probably are emerged as the favourites to win the Europa League. But I think we can win at least 1 trophy this season under Solskjaer. Solskjaer's been here 18 months now, and we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the summer transfer window. Solskjaer did say in his press conference yesterday that our plans for next season, our transfer strategy and our pre-season plans are up in the air because of the uncertainty of how, the season will finish, and plus obviously, with COVID-19. Don't forget, we have already taken a £140 million loan to help us, with our transfer budget. Ed Woodward did say the other month that we will remain competitive in the summer transfer market, but he did say we won't do business as usual, so he ruled out big transfers to Man United. Solskjaer's already notified Ed Woodward of the 3 positions he wants to strengthen up, and Solskjaer has said he wants to recommend a striker in, a right winger, and a centre defensive midfielder. So he's confirmed his transfer priorities. But I think Solskjaer, wants to make around 3 signings in the summer transfer window, because I did say our expectations next season will be to challenge for the Premier League title, and Solskjaer did recently say we've got to spend money to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. We've got to spend money. But it's like I said to you before, I'm very convinced that we can get our 21st title under Solskjaer. You know, we have won 20 titles at the moment, 13 of them Premier Leagues and that. And yeah, so like I said, he needs more time at the football club. Solskjaer will be here next season, you know, regardless of whether we get Champions League or not. Because he does deserve at least another season, because it is a transition period and it has been a transition period for a while. You know, like I said, Solskjaer's our fourth permanent manager since the Ferguson era. You know, we sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era, and that was Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho on that. But in the last 7 years, we spent close to the £1 billion range on players. Close to the £1 billion range on players, and we've recruited over 30 odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. You know, like I said, we haven't dominated English football since the Ferguson era. You know, Ferguson endured 26 years at Manchester United and endured 22 years of success because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. But we did win a total of 38 major honours under Ferguson. No one at Manchester United or any manager in general will replicate Ferguson's legacy, and no one will last as long as Ferguson did. But I think, you know, we can now get back being competitive under Solskjaer and that. But I've always said since Solskjaer came in, I want things to work out under him because he's a legend of the club. He was a great player for us for 11 years, and you know, one of his most iconic moments as a player was 1999, of course, when he won the club at the treble and all of that. But yeah, I was very, very critical of him earlier on this season. But, you know, there's been a lot of problems at the club for several years. You know, there's been problems with the club's board. There's been problems with Ed Woodward. There's been problems with the Glazers and all of that, you know, with how poor our recruitment policy's been, with, you know, us overpaying for players. You know, we've also been criticised for that. But our next season, I think we'll do very, very well. Well, I'm hopeful that we'll do well. You know, to be fair, this season, you know, has probably been better than last season, because last season we ended up finishing 6th, was it? And now, you know, we're obviously, you know, 5th, and, you know, we've got a chance. There's a chance, you know, we can finish in, you know, that top 4. You know, so there you go. So anyway, that's everything to update you with today. Match reaction for the Southampton games probably will be coming up on Tuesday morning. Palace games also coming up as well, but we've still got points to prove against the teams that we struggled against earlier on in the season. You know the news, by the way, regarding Jadon Sancho. Dortmund have confirmed that they want over £100 million for him. They've said this several times. A story is recently coming out saying that we're not willing to pay any more than 50 million for Sancho. Now it's coming out saying that we're only willing to pay 60 or 70 million pounds for any player, but that's still not going to be enough to convince Dortmund to offload him. Sancho is our #1 priority target and that. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.